Oh, bother.
Welcome to Dookie TV, and yes, my name is Dookie. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but Amazon just dropped the new Fallout show. And boy, oh boy, do I got a few things to say about it.
Fucking fucks, it fucking sucks, it fucking blows, it's a piece of shit.
Nah, I'm just kidding, but hold your horses. I just wanted to take this time to shout out, boys, this Arya's playing Lucy's manlet little brother. Alright, I'm getting ahead of myself. But for real, good for you getting roles after That's So Raven or whatever the fucking Disney Channel show you were on. It's a good thing you made it out in One Piece because we've seen how gets down. Okay, now let me actually chill. Anyway, let's just talk about the show. Off rip, I have to say a lot of the times a pilot is make or break for me. I know, I hate to say it. I can already see the comments saying,
"What? A pilot is make or break for you? How could that even be possible? You need to watch at least half of the first season in order to give it a fair shake."
But all I'm saying is if you're not able to rope me into the that sounded crazy, to get me interested into your series after the entire first episode, then something is really wrong in my opinion. But I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that wasn't going to be the case for Fallout. The pilot actually has a lot of stuff going on and it was pretty action-packed. We get to see the bombs actually dropping, the vault getting invaded by raiders, and we get a brief introduction to the ghoul that's played by Walton Goggins. I'm assuming this dude is Amazon Prime's employee of the month because between this and playing Cecil Stedman on Invincible, he's keeping the lights on over there. And I gotta be honest, he's the best part of the show, and it's not even close in my opinion. I think his performance and really his scenes in general are the most interesting in the series. Like in the first episode, he gets dug up out of a grave for God knows how long, and then he instantly just John Wicks all three of the dudes that bring him back. Some of you might call this bad writing. I call it being an absolute unit. So first off, we have Lucy, who's our girl boss protagonist.
The ticket and make her name it gay!
Nah, I'm just playing. She actually looked kind of good, you know what I'm saying? But that's not the important part here. That's neither here nor there.
It's kind of important.
But seriously, she seems like a real run-of-the-mill vault dweller. She has a job, wants to get married and have a family. She has a pregnant friend and a family dynamic with her dad and little brother. And it was actually really cool to see like a fleshed out look at day-to-day vault life. We've always seen bits and pieces and we pretty much knew what was going on in them. But it was just really cool to see the vault in a pre-attack natural state of living. So when Lucy's supposed to be getting quote-unquote married, these quote-unquote other vault dwellers link up to their vault and actually get the drop on them, because it turns out these vault dwellers are actually raiders. And the attack on the vault with the desperation from the dwellers, and just the idea of being absolutely trapped in a bloodbath because it's a vault is just downright terrifying. Lucy's dad saves her life by drowning this raider inside of a pickle barrel, but I'm not gonna lie, it is the most drawn out and pointlessly slow-mo scene in the entire episode. Like, I fast forwarded 30 seconds and this man was still making him bob for pickles. Pause on that, bob for pickles sounded crazy. But the vault eventually takes a fat ass L, and Lucy's dad gets kidnapped by the raiders and their girl boss, Moldova or whatever.
The ticket and make her name it gay!
And then there's Maximus, who's a self-righteous, lying, jealous, and opportunistic person who will stop at nothing to get what he wants. It's actually kind of sickening for a while. But we get to see what life is like being a cadet for the Brotherhood of Steel. This is definitely something new that we get to see from the series. And as a personal first playthrough Brotherhood of Steel loyalist, I say it's interesting to see what life was like inside a boot camp and the classrooms, learning how to become a squire. And shout out to Knight Titus, played by Michael Rappaport. He only had a really small cameo in this, but honestly it was really fucking hilarious, I'm not gonna lie. That's the night that Maximus is assigned to and he becomes a squire and then go out into the wasteland. But Maximus leaves him for dead because he's a piece of shit and goes on the hunt for the scientist that the Brotherhood is looking for. So Lucy escapes the vault to go look for her father, and the three of them embark on a Triforce quest to where their paths cross and align to where they imbue on a shared destiny or whatever. Something else I liked was the music. I mean, like, it was pretty much on point and exactly pretty much what you would expect. But they actually did a really good job of incorporating it naturally into the show's soundtrack. Like, it actually feels like you're just walking around playing Fallout listening to the classical radio station. Especially when they include some of the most synonymous songs with the series. All the vaults, towns, and most of the wasteland looked like it was ripped pretty much straight from the game. They did a really good job translating the setting onto the screen. And I'm gonna glaze the ghoul just a little bit more. Pause. But anyway, I just really like this character for what he represents and how unique he is to the story that's happening around him. He knows what life was like before the bombs. I mean, shit, he even used to be an actor and had his own family. The ghoul embodies everything it means to be living in the wasteland. A man who turned monster given his circumstances and his need for survival. He's basically Rick Grimes if he was addicted to popping 30s every hour and a half. And in my opinion, he's the only main character that really feels like he's like ripped out of the game. His personality, his demeanor, his dialogue, all of that. Overall, the performance really feels like an actual ghoul companion from the game, which is really the main reason why I like him the most. The show does a really good job at actually looking good too. Like, the visual and practical effects on monsters and people look pretty good. The wardrobes and costume look true to source material. If you're a power armor guy such as myself, then you definitely enjoyed seeing it on screen. Because I remember playing Fallout 4 just tricking out power suits for hours, ripping blinkers. It doesn't take itself too seriously either, which is a really good thing. There's a lot of humor that's sprinkled in that actually is funny, unlike The Boys.
What'd I do?
Go, just go!
Not as many dick and fart jokes, but there definitely was a casual drop of it. jokes, which I can say I was not expecting at all. I really like the action sequences, just like the ghoul fighting all the people in the town. Like the ghoul sees a scientist that everybody is after and he knows there's a bounty on his head. He wastes absolutely no time blowing this dude's foot off, trying to turn this man into Barbosa from Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm saying, where's this man's peg leg at? This causes a giant shootout throughout the town, and the ghoul pretty much solos everybody using VATS. They never really explicitly say that in the show, but you can tell by the way that certain shots are done that that's what they're going for. The CGI monsters and robots looked pretty good. They didn't look terribly out of place. Amazon probably paid a pretty penny. Hold up, I was actually cooking there for a second. Hold up. Amazon probably paid a pretty penny. Alright, no. Let me stop. We are not doing that right now. I mean, this show's even got mystery and suspense elements in it involved with the vaults. I'm not gonna go crazy in depth here because I'm not really trying to get into the spoilers today. Now, all that being said is fine and dandy, but is the show any good? I'm surprised to say that the show is actually good, and I'm not just saying that as a video game adaptation either. I really don't get a lot of sci-fi westerns. I know that Westworld is a thing. Overall, I do think the show is very aesthetically pleasing. There's no doubt that the presentation is definitely one of the biggest pros about the series. The performances and acting are a lot better than I was expecting, and it just seems like everybody who had involvement with the series just had a fun time doing it. When it comes to the actual writing and story of the show, that's where it kind of is a little bit on the weaker side to me. Like, it's definitely not terrible by any means, but it's not really that creative or original in my opinion either. Like, aside from the world building elements that are unique to the show that contribute to the storyline, I feel like you could pretty much swap and reuse, and maybe it even has been reused from very similar shows. And like it was just set in the Fallout universe. But as a fan, I definitely enjoyed it, and for new people, I know that they'll definitely enjoy it too. They took a lot of the uniqueness of the franchise and made it into a very digestible way for new audience members. And I think at the end of the day, as a fan, all you can really ask for is to see the stuff that you are a fan of be good and cool, and I guess more people experience it. Unless you're a total gatekeeper, in which case this message is not for you. But the show is pretty damn good and entertaining, so I would give it a spin if I were you. A lot of other people seem to like it, generally speaking. A lot of the shit that I didn't think was gonna like actually turned out to be fine. Like, I rolled my eyes when I found out it was gonna be girl boss versus girl boss, but honestly, like, Lucy's fine. Anybody who's seen the show knows that Maximus is the real fucking prick here. And obviously, we're Team Ghoul all day.
Oh my god, bro, it's dick riding all you do? No, I'm saying
But shout out to Amazon because there are evil corporate leaders, but they are putting out a couple banger shows. But only a couple, let's not get carried away. But that's pretty much all I got for today. This is Dookie TV, signing off.